Thanks for joining us on TVC News at this hour. We begin in India, where G20 leaders have paid their respect to independence leader Mahatma Gandhi as their summit comes to a close today. A day after, the group added a new member and reached agreement on a range of issues that softened their language on Russia's war in Ukraine. The group of 20 rich and developing nations welcomed the African Union as a member, and host India was also able to get the disparate group to sign off on a final statement, despite pointed disagreements among powerful members, mostly centered on the European conflict. India also unveiled an ambitious plan with the United States, the European Union, and others to build a rail and shipping corridor linking it with the Middle East and Europe in a bid to strengthen economic growth and political cooperation. With those major agenda items taken care of, the leaders shook hands and posed for photos with Modi at the Rajghat Memorial Site in New Delhi. In Morocco, the death toll from a powerful earthquake has risen to more than 2,000, with a similar number of injured persons. The Interior Ministry says more than 1,400 people have serious injuries, and heaviest casualties are in provinces just south of Marrakesh. Fearing aftershocks, many Moroccans have opted to stay outdoors for a second night, sleeping on the streets. The epicenter was in the high Atlas Mountains, as there are reports of entire villages flooded in remote areas, though information continues to emerge. The Interior Minister says Al-Haus province has the highest death toll, followed by Tarundel province. There are far fewer deaths in Marrakesh, though the UNESCO protected old city has suffered considerable damage. Back here in Nigeria, the Nigerian Army 3rd Division has organized a sensitization training workshop for officers and soldiers of the division. The one-day sensitization lecture is aimed at educating personnel on the constitutional responsibilities of the Nigerian soldiers through adherence to humanitarian and human rights laws. Plateau State correspondent Funam Joshua reports.
Officers and soldiers of the 3 Armored Division of the Nigerian Army Rukuba Cantonment, Jos, Plateau State. A one-day event aimed at training personnel on the constitutional responsibilities of the Nigerian soldier through adherence to humanitarian and human rights laws. The Chief of Civil Military Relations Nigerian Army is a special guest at the event. He and the General Officer commanding the 3rd Division of the Nigerian Army addressed the personnel on the subject matter. The knowledge of humanitarian law and the constitutional responsibilities of the Nigerian Army soldier in operation are imperative in achieving the mandate of the 3rd Division and Operation Safe Haven.
Nigeria, as a nation, has been dealing with numerous security challenges across the geopolitical zones. This necessitated the deployment of the Nigerian Army personnel in various theaters of operations, which is in line with our constitutional rules as enshrined in the Constitution of ensuring the safety of lives and property.
This sensitization workshop is aimed at enlightening troops with the required grounding to enable them perform their duties in compliance with human rights laws, laws of armed conflicts, and their respective mandates. That is, your mission-specific rules of engagement and codes of conduct.
The carefully selected participants are called upon to use this opportunity to broaden their understanding of the selected topics for the event. Funam Joshua, TVC News, Rukuba Cantonment.
The Nigerian Air Force has successfully trained and graduated 628 personnel in technical military programs at the Air Force Institute of Technology in Kaduna State. The primary aim of the program was to enhance the self-reliance of the force in platform and equipment maintenance. Air Vice Marshal Nnamdi Ananaba, who represented The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, highlighted the consistent elevation of expertise among NAF's skilled technical personnel through these technician programs.
We have a lot of platforms, sophisticated platforms that have been bought for us by the government, and we have a duty to maintain those platforms. And to maintain those platforms, we need to train personnel. We have developed so much capacity for in-house maintenance of these platforms, and we continue to develop capacity to maintain the highly advanced platforms that are still coming, which the government is still purchasing for us. So the graduation we're having here today is a testimony to the fact that we're doing all we can to be able to maintain these platforms provided for us by government. And of course, in the long run, it will assist us to ensuring security of the country.
In Delta State, the Deputy Governor, Monday Oyeme, has expressed serious concern over rising involvement of youth in wasteful ventures. Mr. Oyeme blamed the parents for allowing their words to be involved in dirty deals to get rich at all costs. According to him, the way many youths involve themselves in defrauding people on the internet is painting Nigeria in bad light.
Today we find our youth engaging themselves in so many vices that we as parents are not proud of. We heard so many things like drug abuse. It is only in this modern society that we begin to hear things like Nkpolomiri. How many people have heard of Nkpolomiri? And so many hard drugs that our youth have engaged on.
Services, women and leadership, and the person of the new district governor. The rise of women into leadership roles is gaining some momentum. As people observe more women competently serving as leaders, it will no longer seem strange that a woman is in charge.
In a bid to combat rising drug abuse among young individuals, the youth wing of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Niger State organized a one-day sensitization lecture. The initiatives aim to address the pressing concern of drug abuse and their consequences on the future generation. Chalami Bamaye reports.
Drug abuse among young people has reached alarming proportions, not only in Niger State but across the nation. Young people are particularly vulnerable as they stand at the crossroads of their futures. These young people from various backgrounds are gathered here in Mina for a workshop on drug abuse. Their shared goal is to address the menace of drug abuse head-on.
Promises of remedies to his anxieties. How they told him that they have remedies that they could give him, that what he would be bold enough to face his fears.
The theme of the lecture is drug abuse and restiveness, a loss for the future generation. The event brought together concerned stakeholders, religious leaders and the youth to raise awareness about this critical issue.
If you look at Mina today, you see he has given the security officials, the security agencies, marching order to enter any house that they identify any boy or any child who is on drug and is causing confusion, they should arrest him.
The Bible said, any child that is left to his or her will make her mother to cry. And as a mother, drug abuse is of a much concern to me and to all women.
They encourage the youth, provide opportunity for them to have a job, provide opportunity to them to not see themselves as nobody. That makes the youth go into these drugs. By the time you engage the youth and give them a proper orientation and talk to them how the hazard of these drugs they do take, they will understand, and I believe that to make an impact in their life.
On the pulpit, we need to encourage our youths to stand against the use of drugs and illicit substances, and also the government and her policies, the officials, government officials should put in place policies that will serve as a deterrent to those who go into drug abuse, and should also ensure that they do not provide the drugs, especially during electioneering periods.
Beyond the four walls of the meeting room, this initiative is part of a wider movement in the battle against drug and substance abuse in Niger State. Chenemi Bami, TVC News, Mina.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have intercepted consignment of skunk concealed in tins of tomato paste and meth hidden in used clothes meant for export to Dubai. While the skunk in tomato paste consignment weighing 20 kilograms was intercepted on Friday, 8th of September at the export shed of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, the shipment with a gross weight of 1.60 kilograms was seized at a courier company in Lagos. No fewer than 399 pieces of improvised explosive devices were also recovered by the NDLEA operatives from Oluwagbenga Leke, who is 39 years, along the Mokwa-Ajaba Road on Thursday, the 7th of September. In his statement, the suspect said the explosives were handed to him at a park in Ibadan to be delivered to someone in Kaduna. The suspect and exhibit have since been transferred to the military authorities in Niger State.